Good morning and welcome to Live with Chris, an interview podcast where we can learn and grow together. I am your host, Chris Oviedo, and I want to thank you for sharing the next hour with me. Today's conversation is all about office technology. And my guest, Cindy Garnsey, is the chair of the Office Technology Department here at Howard Community College. Cindy has extensive experience teaching and working with computers. She's been a teacher and a technology trainer for over 30 years and holds a master's on education degree in educational technology from Grand Valley State University. She's a wife to an Army veteran, a mom to two adult children, one of whom is an HEC graduate, and a dog mom too. Cindy, I want to welcome you to our show this morning, and I am really looking forward to a conversation today. I want to get to know you a little bit more, and I like to start going back in time a little bit. You started your career over 30 years ago, and at that time, the job market wasn't what it is today. Technology most certainly wasn't the same that it is today. I mean, if you go back and you Google technology from 30 years ago, you find that some of the highest tech included the fax machines, which maybe some of our students don't even know what the fax machine is. You had pagers, you had cassette tapes, you had floppy disks. Cell phones were just being developed. Some of the first ones came out and they were really bulky, they're really big. They were only used for communication, not for entertainment. Texting was not an option, believe it or not, on a cell phone at that time. So, I know it's like, wait, what are you talking about here? So I want to go, Cindy, into that because I'm trying to picture, I was, as I was preparing for today, I was thinking, I wasn't attracted to that. I was actually a little maybe intimidated by it. I was like, it's changing too fast, and I don't understand it. And as for you as a woman, going back 30 years, where we were still, the market was still not so open for women in many industries, and then you went into technology, and technology was something new. I am really, really curious about what was that that you saw that really sparked that, motivated you to go into technology, and you were like, this is exactly what I want to do. So welcome to our show, and let's start by just really, really digging into what drove you into having a career in technology.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited about having an opportunity to talk about our program. But if we're going to go back 30 years, we're talking, late 80s here. So, what was going on at that time was I had just gotten out of college and I said, okay, I'm going to go be a teacher. So, I
Mm.
got a job in the Chicago suburbs and walked into that classroom teaching high school English. Didn't have any idea that I was going to be doing computers at that time because if you remember, the computer labs in the late 80s were non-existent for non-computer majors, right? So if you were going to a
Mm.
high school in the late 80s, you would have maybe one or two small computers in the back of the room and students would use them when they needed them, but it really wasn't the main core of your classroom. And so
And
what happened.
Cindy, that's here in the States. In Ecuador, where I am from, um,
Mhm.
computers were not even a thing. Like, I wasn't exposed to computers until early 90s. So, to me, it's to know that you graduated from college and you were already exposed and you had labs, even though they were only for those who were student computers. I mean, that's already to me groundbreaking, if that makes sense. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just your experience, my experience, are so different. Even in the time frames and what was available at that time, depending on even where in the world you were. So go ahead, tell us more.
That's very interesting to me too, because we all get kind of self-centered with where we're at. But there was an interest, and like I said, in the late 80s, everything was just starting to boom, right? Everything was starting to see. We had those basic technologies, and we said, what else can we do? And so we had all these wonderful things that were occurring in our classroom. We were trying to bring in the computer every assignment. We'd figure out how can we somehow use this computer to help our assignments and help the students move forward. So as a couple years passed through, we got a little bit more money, we got a little more computer lab to us, and then I was tasked with the opportunity to bring a different program into the high schools. And that was kind of what got me more into it, because I had to actually, I went home one summer with a stack of books about this high and said, okay, I'm going to figure this out. And just became very interested in all the aspects of how we got to the point we are today, with me talking to you on the computer right now.
So
After
teaching,
mhm.
yeah, so teaching was really your passion, and that's what you were doing. But then even back then you were already thinking, how can we use technology to move education forward? Like that's I see that that's what really sparked that combination, that passion, and what really moved you into this career of office technology. Did you at any point, or ever at that point in time in the 80s, envisioned that it would be what it is today, where, I mean, and I know that COVID obviously accelerated things, and pushed us all to implement technology in ways at home. I mean, we started working out at home, we started playing at home, we started working at home, studying at home. I mean, it just brought technology so much more into our homes in ways that I thought we still had some time before we got there, to be honest with you. So did you already envision that when you were, just getting started as a teacher and working in this field, and getting acquainted, I guess, with technology? Was that already part of that vision as a professional that you went in with?
I wish I could say yes, and I was reading the future in that, but it really wasn't. I think our main focus at that point was productivity, to be quite honest. How can we use this technology to improve how we're moving business, how we're teaching students, how we're doing it personally? And that's how everything started, building, and we figured out a way to use it, and technology just kept moving. After I was done, or while I was still teaching high school, I decided, you know what, I need to know a little bit more about this. So I went back to school and I got my master's degree in educational technology with the full intent of instructional design. I thought that would be kind of fun. I can use the technology to build, Canvas sites for people. At that time, we didn't know it was Canvas, but, to kind of help faculty with their technology. And I ended up taking that degree and moving into corporate training. And I worked for about 5 years with the corporate circuit, if you will, in the Chicago area. And then as a military wife, we moved around a little bit. So I was able to take that skill and work at some of the other locations that we lived, to be able to do the corporate training, which then gave me a lot of experience that I needed to come here to HCC and direct the program of office technology right now.
So, going with that, with everything that you said, you basically technology was looked at as just a way to better our communication and our productivity, and it has transformed into almost like this universe that's parallel to us, right? Where life happens, or part of our life happens. It's, to me, it's really interesting, and I have a love-hate relationship with technology, especially when I look at our children, when I look at our younger generations. And maybe this is coming from, I mean, very much the fact that I was introduced to it very late, and my relationship started with it as an adult. So I feel like I have more control over it, right? But when I look at our younger generations, and I see how much we depend on it, to me, it's kind of scary. So I guess, this is more coming from that personal view, and that dilemma, and that conversation that's out there, right? Where there's a lot of people who I think share those concerns, and they're like, we are becoming too distant because of technology. But at the same time, we understand that technology is part of everything that we do. I mean, we're doing the show today thanks to technology, right? Because we're still in the middle of a pandemic, and gathering and having you here in the studio would take other considerations and things like that. So help us navigate, maybe help us get comfortable, because like I said, technology with the pandemic really took over the world and has transformed the way in which we do everything.
That is an understatement, to be honest. When we moved
Mm.
um, online, everybody was in shock that first month, right? Everybody was trying to figure
Yes.
out, even though I have to put a plug in for the OT classroom. We have been doing virtual classroom for quite a few years before it was mandated in 2020. So we had a little bit of experience with that, but our students and our faculty really had that huge learning curve. But I'll tell you, once everybody got a taste of it, they're loving it, right? I have faculty who are requesting just the online classes, and they're always trying to figure out how to incorporate different learning ideas into that online classroom. So not only for teaching, but for working, my family works from home, my sisters, all that kind of stuff. They have that ability to change what they're doing, still being just as productive, but having a different environment to do it. And I think that's going to be the next challenge for a lot of companies as well as HCC, is bringing everybody back, getting them into that mindset that we can do both. And sometimes maybe virtual is a better experience for others in different scenarios. So I think that might be a little bit of a challenge that we're coming up to shortly.
That's really interesting, and I love that you just brought that idea of how do we bring everyone back, and how do we maybe connect the two, and how do we learn. I don't know if balance is the right word for it, but just to use technology for what it is, but at the same time continue to connect in that more personal face to face ways. And I think, Cindy, and maybe as a teacher you're finding this, that with the students and the faculty and staff, when you guys are coming up with these ideas. And you guys are having these conversations, when do you see that somebody, or what would the process be for somebody, maybe like a student who's saying, I really want to further my education, I don't know if online classes are right for me. What do you think takes a student, right? What are some of the qualities maybe that a student needs to consider before deciding whether taking a face-to-face, a hybrid, or a fully online class is the right path for them?
That is an excellent question. And I think too few of students actually stop to think about that. They think, I'm going to take an online class because I can work on it on my own time. I can, schedule myself. Sometimes we have to really look at our own learning styles. And many people's learning styles is not conducive to the online environment. And that's why we want to make sure that this question is being asked. And if I had to say to you, the best online student is someone who can time manage, which is always a difficult task in our world today with all the different things we have going on. Time manage, and I think most importantly, be willing to reach out to your instructor to get some of that additional help that you might not be getting because you're not seeing them face to face every week. So the ability to reach out, not be afraid to use the resources that we have available to the online students today. We have a wonderful e-learning team that is really good for helping students and mostly helping the instructors as well, that we can reach out to all those people. But I want to go back to time management as well. Time management is so important because the way that our classes in office technology work is you are given a schedule of when your due dates are, and that's based on when you register. And so you can always move faster through our courses if you want to accelerate your plan, but you still have to meet certain deadlines. So we want to make sure that people who are taking some of our classes, as well as any of the other campus classes, that you understand that there is a time management consideration to it. And the other thing is you do have to be a little bit comfortable with the technology, but we in the office technology department, we have students who come in who are very, very new to the computer. They really haven't done anything but maybe a little shopping here and there, maybe sent an email back and forth. But we have taken students such as that and given them the skills that they needed to be fully functional technology users, and are really profiting from it.
I am so glad that you brought that up because I know that was a big learning curve for a lot of us when we had to transition at home. And I know you mentioned this as well. You guys were already doing this as, as teachers, as faculty, you guys were already familiar with it. But for many of us, we were used to doing things in person. And the moment we had to go home, it was like, wait a minute, so now I have to figure out how to use Zoom. I know that there was a huge learning curve in Zoom and platforms like the one that we're using today with Vimeo, and even for the big companies, right? And that's where I want to go next, because you guys, it seems like, are staying ahead of the game. You were already thinking about those possibilities on how to bring classes online before we were mandated, as you said, to go into that. And technology changes really fast. I mean, I know we know this as just consumers of it, right? Like I am barely getting to know all of the applications and all of the little gadgets and things that my latest phone has, and the new one comes out. And right, and I need to go and trade it in and now get familiar and get really comfortable with it. And by the time I am slightly comfortable with it, it's time to get the new one, or the new update comes in, and it's just constantly changing. So I wonder how that is, if that's from the consumer end, how does that change? How does that shape the professional world, where you are both in teaching and just in careers in general, when technology is changing so fast?
Yes, and it's so fast we can't really comprehend all of it right now. So we kind of have to, and we have been taking that viewpoint. We try to look out, do a little environmental scan, see what is the new and upcoming technology that is going to be needed in the workforce. The whole idea is technology waits for no one, right? So we have to stay on top of it. I know my faculty and we go to some seminars that help us to keep up to date on what's current out there, along with different seminars that will allow us to improve our online teaching and how we can, engage the students a little bit more in our classes. And I'm very happy to say that the Office Technology Classroom has really done a good job of doing that active learning and really engaging that student with the content. And we're very proud of that particular thing. The other thing that will keep everybody up to date, or what we've had to do to keep ourselves up to date, is certifications. And Office Technology has a lot of certifications that are available to not only the faculty, but of course our students as well, that would help them to continually work through those updates that come out. What's new about Office 365 that wasn't in Office 2016? Or those new apps that are coming out. How can we manipulate the changes and make sure that we're up to speed on that? It's a matter of not being afraid to try it out. You have to be able to be okay with fooling around with some of that technology and not be afraid to fail when you're trying to figure it out. And that's what we really try to focus on in the OT classroom, is to have a safe environment where you can play around with the technology and not worry about breaking it, for one thing, and just have the fun of the discovery. It used to be people would be like, I'm not touching that because I might break it. And we've really tried hard to say, no, come in here, or work with me on Zoom and I'll walk you through it, and it's all going to be fine. And once we get past that, everybody kind of takes a breath and then is welcoming all this new technology in.
Because like I said at the beginning, it's intimidating. It can be very intimidating. And, we all know that there's a cost associated with technology. And yes, absolutely, we don't want to be the ones to break it, whether it's personal, right? Whether it's work, whether it's, somebody else's, like whatever it is, we are always so afraid that we're going to do something. I think we have all experienced the pain of and I mean like it's a painful experience. It hurts in your soul, in your heart, when you lose a document, when you lose something that you were working on so hard, and then you hit the wrong key and suddenly it's gone, and now you can't recover it. And I can't tell you how many times before the documents save themselves, I lost, homeworks and or essays or things that I was doing for work, and it's time, and it hurts. It just hurts when something like that happens. So that's one of the things that as you were saying, that all of us as consumers are afraid of doing, right? We're afraid of hitting the wrong key and suddenly having an experience like that. So it's great to know that we can come to HCC to have that safe space where we can come and hit the wrong key and they'll be okay. That that is not going to hurt as much as it would in the real world. So thank you for having that space and offering us that space, Cindy. And going along with that, we're talking about office technology, and it seems really broad, and it seems really, really large and really big as a concept. So I want you to help us define it. I want you to help us kind of like break it down a little bit and really understand when we're talking about office technology, what are we really talking about?
Well, you're right. It is a very broad um, description of what we do. I'm coming to you right now from our office technology classroom, one of our suite rooms that we have, where this is an example of what you would come to if you were to come to campus. But really, office technology, if we go back a little bit in history, a little bit over 20 years ago was when this concept was a brainchild of Judy Law. Judy Law was one of our full-time faculty here at HCC who had the idea and understood the need of people to upgrade their computer skills. You know, again, the date we're talking about is a while ago. And she understood the need also for the non-traditional student. We have people who, the concept was, let's bring people in here that have lots going on in their lives. They need a very flexible schedule. Let's talk to them one-on-one and meet them where they're at, right? That's the theme of this year here at HCC. Meet your students where they're at. And we've been doing that for 20 years. The idea really took off. And my predecessor, Kathy Sutton, was able to continue the program and add more classes to it. And the idea is to give that student a one-on-one environment with their instructor so that they can take where they're starting and move forward through the software to be, you know, advanced and possibly to move into that certification that we offer as well. So when you ask me, what is office technology? It is very broad. We have over 25 different courses that we offer here in this department. And each of our faculty are certified in Microsoft. Each of our faculty are experts in their product that they work with, either through personal use or through their business experience using it. And we are really, really happy to be able to share that experience with any of the students that come into the classroom, either face-to-face or virtually.
So Cindy, now that we know that it's really broad, who is the right student? Is there a right student? Should everybody consider coming and joining the office technology classes? And the other thing that to me is really exciting about it is that when we look at the website, it says that it helps you increase your earning potential. So I want you to really help us navigate through those ideas, right? Of who should be coming in. It sounds like you guys have a very specific target audience in mind. So I want you to help us really break that down. But also, I want you to help us understand the why, right? The why should that person consider joining and coming and taking classes at the Office Technology Here program in HEC?
Sure. And that why is to improve your computer usage, but importantly is to get into the market, right? To get into the employment market, to improve your bottom line and use those skills in a position that you are creative and you enjoy working in. So I think our target audience is just about everybody who is in a lot of different careers. It's really hard to narrow it down. Computers, we used technology and computers to set up this interview. We're using it right now. We use computers to do any of our classes, and those skills, they do go on be computer use also. We're talking about the theory behind that Zoom call. How do we get everybody's attention? How do we use that to the best productivity that we can? So our classes are integrated into over 20 different programs in the college. So we have our own programs, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but some of our classes, any of our computer classes, particularly our CMS by 110 Computer Concepts course, is in programs over 20 different areas of the college. So you can see that our technology skills, our computer skills that we're trying to help you build up apply to just about any career field that you're looking into. It doesn't have to be just somebody who wants to work in an office or have that technology working every single day. The skills that we're going to teach you in office technology are going to transcend any career that you're looking into.
It's really like a resume enhancer, the way that I am seeing it and the way that you're explaining it. And it makes you more marketable. It makes you, because you're right. I mean, and this is the thing, many times we think about careers as boxes and we're like, okay, if I want to go into medicine, if I want to work in law, if I want to work in business, I have to take this specific classes, and we get very just one-sided. Like we just have this path that we think that we need to follow. And office technology really seems to me like it's almost like common knowledge that everybody at this point in time, based on how important and how prevalent technology is in every field, something that we should all at least have a basic understanding, a basic ease about. And it sounds like office technology is here to do just that. And correct me if I'm wrong, Cindy, but it just sounds like it's a good idea to whatever career you're trying to take for your personal benefit or as a professional benefit, to just consider looking at some of the classes that are offered here at Office Technology, even if that's not going to be your certificate or your degree.
Yes, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because in the past, our main degree has been called office assistant or administrative professional. And that is a very important career field. So I don't want to diminish that. But that position has changed quite a bit over the last few years. And a lot of people now are in management or higher management positions, and they no longer have that administrative assistant to help them. They are required to do some of the tasks that that person was doing for them, such as the creating of the documentation, crunching the numbers in the spreadsheet, creating a presentation for your next board meeting or group meeting. And then the biggest thing is communication. Microsoft Outlook is the highest selling product on the market right now, if of when they're looking at total sales of products. Microsoft Outlook is the communication package that kind of pulls all of this stuff together for us. So very important that we take a look at all this technology, and not just for the fact of learning the technology, but how can it help me in whatever career field that I'm doing. And that brings up the point of certifications. We are under a Perkins grant this academic year that allows any of our students who are taking our Microsoft Office courses, so that would be Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Access, Outlook. When they're taking any of our courses, there is a built-in opportunity for them to do a TOSA or a MOS, Microsoft Office Specialist certifications. They are able to take that with their tuition free of charge. So we're hoping that that might help students to take that extra step, just take that first step and go ahead and enroll in one of our courses and take advantage of that grant opportunity to get that certification, which, as you had mentioned before, that's a resume builder right there. When two people are up for a job and one person has an Excel master certification and the other person doesn't, that's going to put you ahead of the game.
Absolutely. It can give you that edge that you need to get that job. But also on a personal level, like I'm thinking, I am a mom. I right now, if we count my dogs and my cat, we are 9 in my family, right? With my mom and a couple other people that we have in our house right now. So I'm managing, schedules for a lot of people. Knowing how to use the Outlook calendar properly and having giving access to everybody just on a personal level, like even doing something like that can just or an Excel sheet if you don't want to necessarily do that, and creating your monthly calendar that way and just having it and sharing it with everybody. I mean, it just on a personal level too, it can just really help you manage some of those day-to-day activities in a little bit more organized, easier access for everybody, helping with that communication, as you said, because sometimes just having that document, we don't have the time necessarily to sit down and go over as a family, of what the activities are for the week. But if we have that calendar that everybody can access on their phones, then it might just help us all continue to move along without any hiccups. One thing that you mentioned, Cindy, not that long ago, and I thought that was really, really exciting, is one-on-one. One-on-one training, and that's the approach that you guys take. And you also talked about flexibility in the schedule. I want you to help us understand what that really means, right? When you say one-on-one, is it that this is literally almost like a tutoring thing? Help us understand how that works, how that educational part works, and also that flexibility. Because on our conversation right before we went live, you mentioned to me that you could even finish, depending on how much time you give to a class, you don't have to wait for the next semester to register for the next class. You could register and finish um, the first 2 levels of something in one semester. So guide us a little bit through that process.
Absolutely. And I have to say, that is exactly what makes Office technology unique. we're not only unique to HCC, we're unique to Maryland, and there's only a few other colleges that offer a program with this kind of flexibility in the country. So what happens is our courses are 1 credit, the Microsoft Office anyway. We have a few other courses that are additional credits, and they aren't quite as flexible, but any of our 1 credit courses are flexible in the fact that you can register from the very first week of the semester all the way through the 10th week. So that means for this coming semester in spring, you can still register for any of our courses through right before spring break, which is the beginning of April, right? So it allows you to work at your own pace within reason. We still have deadlines, but an example would be, I would like to learn spreadsheets. So I'm going to go ahead and register for our CMSY 101 Beginning Spreadsheets course. And I already bring a little bit of knowledge to that class, so I might be able to go a little bit faster than the deadlines that we've set for you. And maybe you finish that class in maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks. That's going to allow you another 6, 7, 8 weeks to go ahead and register for the advanced spreadsheet course and finish that class out by the end of the semester and sit for your certification and be able to put that on your resume by the end of the semester. And again, a lot of people will start off with not really sure about the rigor of our courses, so they only register for 1 to start with. They get in the rhythm of it and they understand how we work, and they're like, I could probably take a little bit more of a load. They still have that opportunity to register for other courses, not just the advanced of the one I already took. We have students who take, 3, 4 classes at a time. I don't want to mislead you to think that they're extremely easy courses and the rigor is not there, because even though they're 1 credit, you're going to put some time into learning the product. But it's an opportunity for you to start without a huge commitment of time, get a taste of what our classes are like, and then say, okay, after week 2 or so, I think I can take on a couple more classes, or maybe I'll go faster and be able to pick up that advanced course and move through my program a lot quicker.
And I think that that's, many times we feel that in order to complete something or get a certificate, like you were saying, it's going to take me a year or so. And that, knowing that there's that flexibility, because we're all familiar to a certain point with many of the softwares that, and many of the programs that you guys teach through Office Technology. It's just if you want to just master them, if you want to get really comfortable with them, if you want to be able to even if you already have the skills, if you're already like, I already know this pretty well, front and back. But you want to have that certificate. You want to put that on your resume so that when you're hunting for a job, or maybe if you're trying to get farther ahead in your business, in your career, in the place where you're looking at a promotion, maybe, just having that on there from HCC. That might just be that little thing that sets you apart and takes you to the next step. And knowing that you can do that at your own pace, and that you can maybe do it pretty quickly. You don't have to invest 2 full years. To me, that's exciting. As a professional, as a busy mom, as everything else, to know that I can dedicate the time and make it happen quickly, that's really appealing to me, and hopefully that's appealing to our audience as well, who are out there saying, I want to further my career. I think the pandemic brought us, made us uncomfortable in many ways, and pushed a lot of us to really start rethinking where we are, what we're doing today, and how can we continue to move forward. And Office Technology might just be that key, that little thing that you need in order to continue to further your career even more. Speaking of the pandemic, Cindy, maybe surprises, maybe opportunities. How did it redefine Office Technology for you guys?
I think the redefinition came from the opportunity to teach the students. One of the things I wanted to say about your previous topic, though, is that when we're doing these applications, typically people only use about 10% of what those programs can actually do. And so we're trying to determine, when we're teaching these classes, that opportunity is, how can we take them to get a little bit deeper into that program, so they're going to stand out in their office, right? They're going to become that go-to person. When somebody has an Excel question, they're going to say, oh, where's Cindy? She can answer it, right? And that would be the person you're working with. I think that has changed the way people are looking at this too. No longer is it just I'm learning the software, is I'm looking at it in the broader sense of how am I going to help other people to understand this as well. The opportunities that COVID has brought to us is we have seen students shine in online environments who might not have been as active or might not have been as eager to jump in the face-to-face classroom when they had to come to campus and they had to, kind of work on it on their own, even though we were here to help. I think that the change of the environment being online, although sometimes I feel like I'm online 24/7, to be quite honest, but, we try to be there. We try to be there. I think some students, we're very, very eager to help. The faculty is eager to help. And I think because of that, the students are putting a little more effort into it and really trying to figure out how all this stuff works and are coming out on top at the end. So.
And that's really exciting. I agree with you. That's super exciting. So for those who are considering taking, classes the spring semester, let's talk about, the certificates, the degrees that we offer through Office Technology and what that looks like.
I'm really excited to do this because we have a brand new certificate that's going to launch this fall. So this is a little preview for you. We're calling it the Integrated Workplace Technologies Certificate. And this is really the title of this is what it's all about. We're including all of our courses that we feel are pertinent into that workplace of today and tomorrow, and how we have to realize that we're not stovepipe applications, right? When you're working in the work field, you're not only using Microsoft Word, but you're also making the spreadsheet that will then make a chart that goes into your PowerPoint, which is then what you're going to present on Zoom or any other virtual environment. And then you're probably going to have to use your cloud storage to, keep track of all this kind of stuff. So we definitely have that integrated component that we might not have had, 10 years ago. So we're trying to work on that particular, option for it. We're trying to, straight off of the description, is combine the workplace technologies and apply them in person and virtually. And I think because of that integration, we're going to have some real success with students who sign up for this program. I think it's going to be a fun program. We have, along with our regular classes that we have, we're launching 4 different programs that I think are going to really catch on. One of the first 1-credit courses that we're offering in the fall is CMSY 107. It's called Cloud Storage. And basically, we're going over all of the possibilities that we have today of where in the heck to store that file and what's the best way to retrieve it, because we know that's really the hardest part is once we get it up there, how do we get it back? We've all had that story you were referring to a little bit earlier about where did that file go? So that's a class that people might really be interested in. The other course that is going to have a lot of pull is CMSY 183, and it's called Virtual Workplace Communications. So this course is going to focus on what we're doing right now is one aspect of it, using a virtual communication, but it's also talking about, what are the security issues for some of the things that we're doing right now? We got to think about that. Also, what is the polite way to do some of these things? I've been on a few calls with students and, to be honest, a few faculty and community people who aren't quite understanding the protocol when it comes to doing some of these virtual meetings. So this class is going to take you from step 1 all the way to running your own meeting and being able to integrate all the extra cool technology parts of the software and have a very productive meeting. We also have another course. It's our capstone course. It's called CMSY 184, and it's called Integrated Applications. And basically what that means is you'll take that after you've had a lot of your other Microsoft Office courses, and it is an applications course that has you integrate all of the applications in certain work-based projects, which really would prepare you for any kind of a job in the administrative as well as, any kind of field that's going to be using that technology. And our last new course, I should say, we have done a handshake with the business department. I know Linda Mercurio was on here yesterday, and we've done a little handshake with them in their data business analytics program, the certificate, which is actually available right now. The course that we're contributing to that is called CMSY 208. And that is called data visualization. And I'm sure out there you've seen some of these really cool dashboards that are built. HCC has one when they talk about their COVID cases. Any dashboard where it aggregates all your information into a visual picture and how you can then use that to present to your people or whatever you're looking to propose. There is a little bit of a learning curve on that. And we're offering a course in the fall, a 3-credit course actually, that would help you understand a little bit better about how that data becomes information or vice versa, how we're using all that information and being able to share it with other people and have it make sense, have it tell a story.
And I think that's something that I'm personally interested in. And this is what I love about this, right? That I am in communications, and maybe somebody's listening and saying, okay, well, I understand, because you need to kind of like look at, what your results are with the shows that you're doing, so I can understand what you need, and data and stuff like that. When you look at medicine, and COVID has shown us how important data really is. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't really necessarily mind, and I didn't think and value data until I started working and really, started looking at it and realizing, well, if we want to be successful, we got to understand, those numbers. We got to understand that data, and we need to be able to, as you said, clearly put it for others to see it, but also for our own benefit, so that we can then, make the right strategies. And that applies to any career and any business out there. The other thing, Cindy, that I want to go back to is you talked about online etiquette. And I wasn't planning on talking about this morning, but we have a little bit of time, and I would love to hear, some tips from you, because you're right. And at the beginning of the pandemic, I loved that it was like, oh, really done in the app, and, wearing my pajama bottoms and things like that. So why does it matter? And maybe some same thing when we're typing, I'm going through this right now, where with a group of friends, we're trying to put together this baby shower for one of our good friends, right? And texting and communicating clearly through text, and how that message is coming through, and not having it all in caps and things like that can make a big difference, even in those personal conversations and things like that. So if you could give us maybe some tips, right, on online etiquette, or just how to better communicate, just something that you think that is really, really important that we should take away and start using today, what would that be?
Well, there's a couple different aspects we can talk about. And first of all, it's just email. I know email is kind of an old school for a lot of our millennials. They're doing mostly text, things like that. Everything is short, quick, get it, very fast where you want it. But I think when you come to an email for your professional life, I think what people sometimes forget about is this is your greeting to someone as you're writing to them. So sometimes just jumping in without any kind of a, hi, Susie, hope your day's going well, and then hit them with what you want has a real impact on me, I know, when I get that, because then I'm thinking, okay, this person is talking to me, they're not talking at me. And I think if we consider if the emails are, a communication, not just throwing information at people, I think that would help our whole demeanor. And that would also help include us in the conversation. We had mentioned earlier about how, we are so isolated sometimes with this whole COVID thing. I think if we can put a little more humanity into our emails, into our texts, things like that, is appreciated, both in the personal as well as the business field. When it comes to Zoom, and my students will understand when I say this, because I say it every time at the beginning of a scheduled remote or an online class, show your face, show your camera. A lot of people are very timid to do that. And it really, really helps to build that community in your classroom. And it just makes it seem more like you're there, and helps to make it a more friendly environment. And that's something that a lot of people won't do. And let's put it into a business meeting scenario. You have 5 people in a meeting, you're the only person without your camera on. That can very much send a message that you might not be intending to send, very closed, not listening, probably multitasking during the meeting. So we all have to be a little bit more aware of how our footprint online is coming across to others as we're doing all of this communication.
Thank you for bringing that up because you're right, and I had not thought. I was thinking of communicating in an email in a professional way because it sets that presentation, right? It sets who you are, and it says a lot about who you are just from that perspective of the professional world. But I didn't realize, and until now that you bring it up, is like you're right. It's that way to really bond. It's a way to really get get together. It's a way to just continue to have that closeness that we have kind of lost a little bit with COVID. So thank you for bringing that up and for reminding us that behind that email, behind that computer screen, it's a person. It's a person that's there, and you still can use and might actually get more from your emails if you personalize and if you continue to talk to that person that's on the other end, rather than just being all about business and cold like that. So thanks for humanizing technology a little bit for us this morning. Let's talk about the spring semester, and all the classes and all the different things that are coming up. With COVID in mind, how can our students continue to pursue their pathway to success here at HCC this spring semester? What are the different options available to them?
Well, luckily, we do have a lot of options, but I also want to say for that student who prefers the face-to-face environment, I'm very, very happy to say that we will be having face-to-face classroom hours this spring. We're going to be doing it a little bit less than we have in the past, but on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we are here for you. We also have a Wednesday evening. And then at the same time during that, we will have virtual hours. So we will post a virtual room that you can pop into, kind of a drop-in scenario. If you need some help, if your faculty is unavailable at the time that you need the help, you can come into our virtual classroom. I want to back up for just a minute, though, and talk about some of the other opportunities that you could do when you come into our classroom. We have two other certificates that I failed to mention earlier that I wanted to bring up. The first one is for someone who just wants to do the applications and isn't really concerned about the business or the general education courses that go with it. We have something called a software application specialist, and it just has all of our Microsoft Office classes in it. Once you have completed all of those classes, it's a total of 8, then you will receive what we call a letter of recognition. And that letter of recognition is something you can put in your HR file. You could, note it on your resume. And it basically says that you are proficient in Microsoft Office without the industry certification. It's an HCC certification. We also have a healthcare documentation specialist certificate, which is in the process of being updated, and we are offering it in the fall, a new program. As you know, medical field has expanded greatly with COVID and all the different ways that we get our medical documentation records, how we keep track of all of that stuff has changed. Quite often you might have an additional person in the doctor's office with you scribing what is going on rather than the doctor putting it into the computer. So there is a big need for medical transcriptionists or medical scribes, and basically just the healthcare documentation specialist, knowing where all that paperwork goes and how to fill out the forms and assisting the doctors and the nurses in the office. So we have that certificate. It's about 20 credits, and it allows you to be prepared to work in any medical office or become a scribe. And we've got a lot of interesting components to that since COVID has added a lot to our course content. So that's one of the other certificates that is available to you, as well as the software application specialist. And then, of course, we have our administrative professional certificate. And then, of course, our brand new one coming out in the fall, which is our integrated workplace certificate. Knowing that if a student wants to be able to continue in the online environment, we're certainly offering that as well. All of our campus offices will still be available virtually for them to look at registration, particularly get advising, and of course, come into our classroom as needed. So there's a lot of different ways to continue what we're doing, but to also kind of phase ourselves hopefully kind of getting back to on the ground and interacting with everybody on campus. But when you do choose to come to campus this spring, please know that we have a very safe environment. We have a huge computer room. We spread everybody out. We're all masking still, and it's really a safe space to come if you desire to have that face-to-face community.
And I love that you're offering all of those options, Cindy, that you're acknowledging that it might be difficult to come back in person, that we've gotten comfortable with being online. But that if that is an option, it's available to everybody who's listening and watching who wants to continue to further their skills in office technology. Where can we get more information? Where can we go to start that registration process? Where can we speak to somebody? You've talked about the different opportunities available. So where is the best place, and where maybe the different ways in which we can get in touch with you and everybody there at the Office Technology Department?
Absolutely. Well, if you want to come in, we are located in Duncan Hall on the third floor. We have the entire suite of classrooms on the third floor on the one side of the class. And definitely you can walk in and talk to, I have two wonderful full-time faculty that work with me. And we also have, 18 adjuncts that would be at your service if you walked into the classroom at any given time. The best way, I think, is to start with our website on howardcc.edu. Just in the search box, just type in office space technology, and that's going to take you to our main webpage that talks about our 3 programs and also about the environment. There's a couple pictures in there that let you see some of our other rooms other than what I'm in, and really kind of give you a good vibe for what you might be getting into. And anytime, I'm very welcoming an email. I'm at cgarnsey@howardcc.edu, and more than happy to answer any questions that you may have to get you started on your pathway with office technology.
So howardcc.edu, and my good friend, the search bar. I consider her my best friend because she's the one who helps me find anything that I need right there on our website. That's where you can get started. That's where you can go and look for more information. And then you can always contact Cindy. She just volunteered her email so that you can get in touch with her, and she can guide you, and she can maybe connect you with that next person that you need to talk to in order to continue to further your skills and your career. We've talked about office technology. We learned what it is. We learned what it's not. We also learned that it is for everybody, that it's really just a resume enhancer, that it can be a career, but it can be so much more than that. We learned about the different opportunities. We learned that we can do it online, in person. There's a lot happening there. It's a lot of information. Maybe you will need to rewatch and re-listen to some of the parts of our conversation so you can gather it all. But Cindy, if there was one thing that you wanted all of our listeners, all of our viewers to keep in mind and to take away from this conversation today, what would that be?
I love this question because there are a lot of things that I would like to tell everybody and the experience that I've had here at HCC and elsewhere. But the main thing is to understand that everybody starts somewhere. Nobody is born an expert, right? So it's just really important to think about what interests you and just take that first step to kind of find a little bit out about it and talk to different people about it. Like I said, my staff and I are always willing to just kind of have a conversation. We won't even talk registration. We'll just have that conversation that says, hey, this is what it's about. Come try us out. And if you can have the thought of, I'm just trying it, I can guarantee that you'll get hooked. Again, as I mentioned before, technology waits for no one. They're going to keep coming up with new programs. They're going to keep doing all these new things. That's going to really force us, if we want to be included in humanity of this area, of this time, we're going to have to jump into the game. And I encourage you to do it sooner than later and have some fun with it. I love my job. I love technology. I love learning something new. And I'm really hoping that my faculty and I can inspire that in you as well. I also would like to do a shout out for some of the events that are coming up over the next couple weeks with the semester just getting started. We have a Meet the Faculty for the business pathway. That's going to be on February 7th. So keep an eye out for some information on that. It will be virtual. Actually, excuse me, it's in person is what I meant to say. It's going to be in the Galleria. It's going to be a great opportunity. There might be some free food. I didn't say that out loud, but there might be some free food. That always brings people, right? And I also wanted to just remind everybody about our Perkins Grant opportunity. Each of those certification tests that we offer in the OT classroom is well over $120 value. So we're giving that to you from the Perkins Foundation to allow you to get certified. And I just want to remind you that as you're registering for spring and you're looking at your schedule, you might find time in that schedule for maybe a 1-credit class, and you can make up your mind for several months up through April 1st to be able to come join us for the spring semester.
And, I thank you for reminding us of that, right? Maybe you're thinking, oh my gosh, Cindy, this sounds great. These classes sound exactly like what I need just at work today. This could help me so much because I'm struggling with figuring out Outlook sometimes. I know that I was before a conversation today looking at my signature and I'm always having to click too many things just to find where my signature is, just things like that. So maybe you're in that same place and you're thinking, well, I'm already taking all of this classes and I don't know that I will make the time for that. Okay, take some time. Keep it in the mind, in the back of your mind, start the semester and figure it out. And if you see that after you've started the semester, you do have a little bit extra time, more than you thought, then go back and consider. You don't have to register today. That's what's beautiful about this program, is that you can take a little bit of time. Maybe you are not a student, maybe you're working, but you're thinking, gosh, this would really help me. There's this opportunity to move forward inside my organization. And it would just really set me apart from all of those other candidates if I had this certification. I just know that I have this big project maybe right now going on and I'm not going to have that time, but it finishes in about 3 weeks. Perfect. That's the perfect time for you to come and join the Office Technology and register for these classes. So keep that in mind. Just, like Cindy said, have that conversation, reach out, ask those questions, get your information, put it on your calendar, set it up, and you can do it. Take that first step, like Cindy said. Take that first step to continue to move forward. Cindy, thank you so much for sharing your time, for inspiring us to continue to do, better, to continue to learn more so that we can continue to advance in our careers and in our personal lives as well, and continue to develop that relationship with technology, which, like I said, we need to get comfortable with. And I know that especially as we get, I'm going to call this wiser, not older. We kind of like detach a little bit from it. So it's important to stay up to date. So thanks for that reminder today. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please share with this with your friends, with your family. Check out HCC Office Technology. Continue to move forward. Continue to get ahead in life in your professional world. And until next time, I am Cris Oviedo.